This is a broadcasting from the city of sun and rain off the Atlantic Ocean in Boca Raton, Florida. Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be, across the nation and around the world. I'm your host, Chad Deckard, and welcome to my second ChadDeckard.com podcast show. Today's recording date is October the 8th, 2012. My shows will cover how online and offline marketing and communications can grow your business, as well as topics on tips, tricks, techniques, digital lifestyles, the future of finance, entrepreneurism, and travel and adventure. Thank you for tuning into my show this week. This is my second show as we begin this adventure together, exploring many great things to come. In my previous show, I presented to you a brief history of some of the things that I have done professionally in my career that would be related to the purpose of this show. So I invite you to go to my blog archive and find the first episode to listen to if you'd like. If you're an iTunes user, you can go to podcasts in your iTunes and look up Internet Marketing Pro by Chad Deckard. And you can subscribe to my blogcast, an RSS feed, and get an automatic download and take it with you with your mobile device. All right, let's get down to business. I have a really quick announcement for you, my listener. I am in the process of setting up some really great interviews over the next coming weeks for this show, so I really hope that you stay tuned and tell others about this show because I have some great content with some very interesting guests to present to you, and I'm very excited about it. But now, let's get into today's show. I'm going to cover the topic of what a number of listeners asked me this week through emails in regards to my first show last week. And the number one question that survey says is, what do I do besides this blogcast? And the second part of the same question, and what am I selling? And I'd have to say, good point made by some of the listeners of the first show, and that makes total sense. And I guess that's what I'm going to cover here in this show, is I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what I'm currently doing and what am I really selling. Well, as you can see, I'm selling you on this program. I'm selling you on my site, so, in a nutshell, bottom line, that's what I'm selling you, but let's get down to the details of what that means. So if you were to come to ChadDeckard.com and CDeckard.com, I'm always selling, you will see some of the things that I present to you, obviously across the top of the header board nav bar. And that would be lead generation, data monetization, and consulting. And so let's go to lead generation. There's two sections to lead generation. It's either a publisher or advertiser. If you are a publisher and you have a website or you have an email list and you're an email marketer or you have a telephone call room and are a telemarketer or an SMS mobile marketer or you're a DRTV person from television, I want to talk to you. If you are interested in remonetizing the data that you produce or the audience that you have captured, we have something to talk about. I have offers not only that are my own or are my partners, but I also have outside partners and networks that I work with that give very good payouts for you to put their advertisement within your media. So you would go to my site, click lead generation, maybe then after that click publisher, read about what I have to say about publishing, and then click forward. And you can either join the network that I highly recommend, or you can contact me as well through the contact form and talk to me on what I could do for you personally as well as the network that I represent. Now I'm going to go to the other side, advertisers, real briefly. If you are an advertiser and you have a product or service that you want to get more distribution other than just your website managing it yourself or your own pay-per-click or email campaigns, and you want to expand your distribution in reach, then we have something to talk about. What I can do for you by contacting me, through my contact form or registering with the network that I represent and am partnered with, they can help get distribution for you and your offer for your product or service, and we can help drive your sales for you. So those are the two things I cover in lead generation, and I can get into more detail about those advertisers and publishers in probably just a moment. Now, the next part that I will cover is data management, and that consists of list management, which would be, if you were a list manager, you typically will have like a newsletter, you will have some type of community, user base or customers, and you want to continually send offers or upsell or sell some new special to get them to buy more product or service from you. We have something to talk about as well, because I have more data that I could probably contribute to your means and that you can monetize, that someone else owns or myself. And if you run your offer and you give a bounty based on performance, you can pay us for that performance, or you can buy it by the record and use a lead that might not have sold, say, this particular cosmetic product, but you've got a cosmetic product and another offer, they might want to buy yours. So the lead's already been produced. Now why not be able to acquire the lead that is someone else's junk for a cheaper cost, to be able to have a chance to sell somebody who was interested in raising their hand a likewise product or service. So we've got something to talk about there. The other part of data monetization works like this. You have a form, and you're producing leads with that form. And after you're done using those leads or selling those leads, you put those leads back out into the marketplace with someone like me who will use the leads to sell products and services that I have under my own management that are related. And thus, I will pay you a performance commission for that data. So for the lifetime value that I use that data and I sell products and services, I will pay you a commission. And if I can't use the data, I have a network of individuals and businesses, networks, all types of people, depending on whether it's email data, direct mail, SMS, mobile, telephone. We can take that information and use various resources if the privacy policy within those sites is written correctly to remonetize the data. And the other thing that I can offer you as well with data management is my consulting in taking a look at your privacy policy, making sure that it's crafted properly so that you may take advantage of being able to remonetize your data. Because most people and a lot of sites do not understand this back end of the type of business of remonetizing data, and there are some sensitive issues as far as what people think you're doing with their data when you acquire it. So it's always a best practice to be very upfront and frank as far as what you're going to do. And a lot of time, most people don't read that information, but it needs to be there. So I will help you in getting that information correctly drawn up to reflect what your intentions are to do with that data beyond using it yourself. And thus, you can either give the data once you've made that update to me, or you can give it to anyone that you choose to. So that's predominantly what I do. And of course, outside that, the other thing would be consulting. I have a consulting business. I consult people on a daily basis on their lead generation campaigns. Some of them I lead. Some of them I get partners to help me facilitate. Some of them I just consult and take a look at what you're doing with your current personnel and make recommendations. I get all kinds of requests. So my consulting could be me speaking to you for like an hour, and we just chit-chat and we share ideas, or I fill you in on what I know are the best resources for what it is that you want to accomplish. And I make sure that, if I don't know the information or I can't help you, I try to refer you to someone that could, and I don't charge you anything for it. So that is, I would say, in a nutshell, what I do besides this blogcast and what I'm really selling. And at the bottom line, I named this show on iTunes Internet Marketing Pro. And it's kind of interesting that my first internet company was Info Generator Pro. But Pro to me means performance, results-driven optimization. And that's something that everyone in business or outside business should reflect on at all times, because, performance, could be, how is your ad producing? How are you producing? Do you have enough energy in your daily, routine to get all the things that you need done? And then, after performance, there is results driven. Are you driven? Or what kind of results is your performance giving you? And from that, you make the association into optimization. And what optimization means is to make something even better, to optimize it, and to get the better result that you're driven by. And thus, it becomes a continual process that goes round and round and round again. That's ever-ending. So you could say that all marketers and all entrepreneurs and people are professional testers. There is no real expert. There's only what we call testers. So don't let anybody ever fool you if they ever consult you that they're supposedly the expert, because at the end of the day, things are changing all the time in this very fluent modern world that we're in. And to say you're an expert, you can be, but you should be modest in saying so, because there's always something new coming up, and we're really, at the end of the day, professionally, hypothetically testing all the time. So, now I'm going to get into a little bit more detail about advertising and publishing. As far as advertising is concerned, I'm interested in speaking to anybody who has potentially a great business, product, or service and needs help getting more distribution for your ad campaign to the masses. I will give you an example. I have been speaking to several businesses the last couple months in regards to this project of the show, and obviously my website, cdecker.com, and what my direction is and what my concept. And so when I talk to these advertisers, they already have affiliate programs or different things that they participate in to work with people outside their own business to bring potential business to the table. And so I'm working with these companies in that same capacity of on a performance basis, and I'm trying to build their business. And I'm doing it on a, basically on what I do for performance-wise. And so the idea is that I plug them in to not only my site, my show, but also my network of people that I know. And so if you have a product or service that I think that I can help you with based on all the information and knowledge that I've compiled with a number of my associates that I have access to through, say, Salesforce.com, we compile all types of information as far as what's your interest, what country you deal in, if you have data or you have an ad campaign, what vertical market are you in, to where we are in the process of closing you along the sales funnel path, etc., etc., etc. And so having that information at my fingertips allows me to be able to qualify you to be able to work with myself or somebody associated within my network that could best suit your needs. So I welcome you to inquire with me to find out if there's any opportunity with your product or service. There was one particular service I'd have to use for an example in the last couple weeks that really has me inspired and passionate, and that is buying and selling gold and silver. Because of today's financial markets, what will happen tomorrow in the future with the debasing of the currency, I'm very interested in the gold and silver precious metals business. And there's many people, that'll say one thing or the other about it, or they feel like they don't understand. I present ideas and information that I want as many people in America and around the world to know realize and understand to help protect them in their financial future as well as their future generations or children. Because what they've done here recently changed the whole ball game. And so I've partnered up with a business based on a trend that opens the ability to me to have people buy or sell their precious metals from me. And I'll be talking about that in future shows. So in doing so, I've talked to these businesses and representing these businesses through various means, not only on my website, maybe on my show, but I send email, I put it in call rooms, I do all kinds of different things to help those campaigns get the best exposure and produce the best results for myself as well as those partners on a performance basis. It's not like I'm actually a partner with them, but I'm indirectly partnered with them because we have the same idea in mind, is that we want to win and produce a profit, but we need each other. And so we're affiliated with each other. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. And hopefully at the end of the day, we both walk away making a profit from our efforts. So that's what I'm looking for in advertising. And if not that type of thing where I can work personally with you, I have networks of organizations throughout the country and around the world that I know from attending trade shows for the last 16 years within the internet marketing space that would be glad to take you on and be the agency of record to help you get the larger reach that you're looking for based upon whatever it is that you can afford. So that's what I'm looking for as far as an advertising is concerned, being more detailed about what I do other than this blogcast and what I'm selling. I'm basically a go-to guy, a great resource for advertisers to go to prior to deciding what network they might even want to choose. Do you want somebody, whether it's mine or anybody else, do you want an honest opinion? That's what I'm going to give you. I have no vested interests. I just set something up because if I'm going to talk about it, I might as well maybe get paid for something for my time and my effort and all the years that I put into this by making referrals for free. And then if you want to talk to me, obviously I charge a consulting fee by the hour. So that's where I stand as far as advertising is concerned. Now let's get into publishing. The publisher is a little different. The publisher to me is like somebody that I can partner with in a lot of different ways. Not only is a publisher a partner, but I could see or a joint venture or an affiliate or whatever it might be, and would be defined, how we qualify each other. I'm looking for people with phone rooms who own data, or email marketers, they're lead generators, the SEO people. Your magazine, you publish a newspaper, you run a TV or radio station, and somehow, some way, you're collecting data or you're producing or generating traffic, eyeballs and ears. I want to speak to you. And the reason why I want to speak to you is because there's probably an opportunity with everything that I'm dealing with and the fact that I'm this central kind of base that a lot of people go to. And with me collecting that type of information from so many sources and opportunities, we have something to talk about. There could be an opportunity of how I could link you with another person looking for exactly what you're looking for. And you could probably call me somewhat of the internet marketing business matchmaker. Next week, I have an awesome guest that I'm going to have on this show. I think you'll find it really interesting. A bit of information as well as infotainment. That's what the podcasting world's calling these recorded programs. So if you like my show, please consider subscribing to it, which you can do by visiting my website, chaddecker.com. Or if you are an iTunes listener, you can take it with you wherever you go on your mobile device by going to iTunes Podcast and searching Internet Marketing Pro. That's Internet Marketing Pro with Chad Deckard. I invite you to give the rest of the listeners and myself all the feedback you can contribute or support, because you are part of what makes this show a success. So please feel free to share this video or audio on your social networks like Facebook, Twitter, or your blog, or YouTube by clicking your share button. I really appreciate you doing so. Well, that's about it for this show. Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be, across the nation and around the world. This is Chad Deckard signing off. Goodbye for now.